Welcome back to the Christian&Cowboy Podcast. I'm Christian, joined by Cowboy as always. Cowboy, how are you today?
I'm doing pretty good. How about you, son?
Some days are better than others right now because obviously there's nothing to do some days. But today I got some money mowing the yard, so the backyard was super high. I literally felt like I was sneezing my head off. Other than that, I'm pretty good. Just the allergies fighting that right now. But
Did your mower get bogged down?
no. It was tough to deal with at times. I had to do it on like the fourth level. That's how high it was.
Yeah.
But I figured it out. So
Well, that's good, son.
yeah,
Way to help out your neighbors.
yeah. And hey, if I get paid for it, I might as well, right?
Yeah, might as well.
All right. Well, and you know what I just thought about? This is actually my first upload on the channel in like a month, probably. My last upload was when Zephian and I had that video talking about the status of the college football season for 2020. And I haven't done anything since because we haven't had anything to talk about. So obviously when the sports resume, I'll start uploading again, something other than our podcast here. But anyway, let's get into things. Did you pay attention to the NFL draft? I'm assuming you did.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I got a decent idea of what all happened.
Well, who do you think had made the biggest splashes? We'll start with that.
I think you got to start with Green Bay. Not Green Bay. That's the worst one.
Yeah, they were the biggest loser of the draft for sure.
Yeah.
Did you see? Sorry, go ahead.
The biggest splashes are the teams that took the quarterbacks. I mean, I think Miami did really well if assuming Tua can stay healthy. If they had a good draft up and down. I don't really know Cincinnati how they graded out, but Miami's going to have a good team if that quarterback turns into anything.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, me and Zephian were talking about that on the podcast earlier. By the way, I have two things to tell you all about. I'll put them in the description. So yeah, look in the description. Go check out both my Twitter that I got like a month ago that I kind of forgot to talk about, and go check out my other podcast. It's an actual podcast, not just YouTube videos that I call podcasts. Anyway, but that's what Zephian and I were talking about is like we were just going through their roster and like they're honestly have a really good roster right now. I mean,
yeah,
and then and I said on the podcast, like, don't be surprised if, I don't know if they're still going to do the 7-team playoffs now. I know you hate that. I'm kind of on. I don't hate that. I just hate the 17-game schedule. But anyway, we were talking about like don't be surprised to see if Miami sneaks into that 7 spot. Like maybe not this year, but like eventually.
Probably not this year with a rookie quarterback, but that division is a lot different now. You don't know New England's going to win it like they had done for 25 years.
Yeah, I mean, what would you set their over/under right now on wins?
Probably 9.
Yeah, I was going to say like 8 or 8.5. So yeah, somewhere between 8 and 9, I would probably say for them.
I can't see them winning 10, 11, 12 games. There's just no way.
Yeah, no way. Yeah, I don't think so either. But I mean, what do you think? How do you think about? Or actually, let's talk about this first. What the crap are the Packers doing?
Well, the problem with the pick is they traded up to get it. When there was no reason to. They traded up and traded up ahead of Seattle. Seattle wasn't going to take that kid with Russell Wilson in place.
Mm-hmm.
They traded ahead of Minnesota. They weren't going to take Jordan Love
over Kirk Cousins. Yeah.
If they just stayed where they were and took him, I wouldn't have thought as much about it. But
that's something I didn't really think about. Is that the teams in front of them? I mean, they weren't probably going to take him at all.
No, they weren't. There was no reason in the world to trade up and cost themselves picks that they need. I mean, Green Bay had a good record last year. They made the NFC Championship, but they won a lot of close games. Every close game went their way, and it's hard to make that happen 2 years in a row.
Yeah, I mean, I've said it before. I'll probably say it again, I'll say it again. That Green Bay team was probably the worst 13-3 team in the history of the NFL.
It's hard to say, but I wouldn't be surprised.
And that's no disrespect to them. I mean, they were still a solid team, but like, it's like you just said, all those close games, they found a way to win somehow.
Yeah, and that usually goes the other way the next year. So I don't know, man. I mean, there are people that think Rodgers is kind of on the downside of his career.
Yeah,
he didn't play great last year like he normally does, but I mean, I don't know what kind of help he has. He don't have any receivers except for Devontae Adams.
Mm-hmm. Did you see that stat of all those great quarterbacks, and then it showed career passing touchdowns to first-round picks? You see how many Rodgers has?
Yeah.
1.
Yeah, I know.
It's unreal.
Well, and then in the second round, they take a running back.
Yeah, and I mean, and they have Aaron Jones, and I forget the other kid's name, but they have good running backs. Like, they didn't need to take a running back.
No.
Like, A.J. Dillon's good, but they didn't need him.
They need something to shore up their defensive line, and they need wide receivers. I mean, everybody knows that, and they didn't take any. And I just don't. It's hard to understand, but you never know, man. These drafts are funny. Rodgers gets hurt, they're going to look really smart with taking that kid.
Yeah. One thing obviously the Bengals. I'll be interested to see how Burrow and Higgins, how their chemistry evolves over the years, because I feel like that has a potential to be a really good first 2 picks for them in this draft. Because, I mean,
yeah.
T. Higgins is a really good athlete. I mean, I watched him in a dunk contest in the Arby's Classic when he was in high school. So, yeah, I mean, you could see there. I mean, he can get up. He will go up and get it. He will find a way to. So, but
he's a faster version of Juwan Jennings.
Yeah, I agree.
Reminds me of.
Probably a little bit thinner too.
Yeah.
Probably a smaller, faster version of Juwan. Yeah. But I mean, it's not a ton smaller, but just a little bit. But yeah. I agree. What do you think about how the Titans did?
You talk about that. That's your team. You probably know it a lot better than me. What are your thoughts?
Well, okay. So Isaiah Wilson, when we picked him, I was not mad. I was just kind of confused. And here's why. Because I thought we were going to take a corner in the first round. And I mean, like all us Titans fans on Twitter, we were kind of just sitting there like, okay. Like, we were expecting something big, and then when it's just Isaiah Wilson and an offensive lineman, it just kind of takes the air out of you. But that's not saying Isaiah Wilson is a bad player. I think, like, I've watched some film on him. It looks like he's going to be a good addition to the O-line. He'll probably help replace Jack Conklin, who we lost to the Browns on free agency. So, I think it'll end up being a good pick. But I think our best pick of the draft was Christian. I don't know how we got Christian Fulton to fall to us in the second round. See, that mock draft me and Zephian did in our draft preview, it had Christian Fulton going in the first round to us, not the second round. So I was very surprised to see him fall all the way to the second round to us. He just fell in our lap. So, obviously we're going to need secondary help. Logan Ryan still hasn't signed with anyone, so that's kind of a wait-and-see thing. We're probably waiting to see on Clowney to re-sign him. And yeah, I mean, apparently I saw earlier, I don't remember when it was. It might have been yesterday or the day before, but they said Clowney's in no rush to sign, and that he's already declined 2 offers from the Seahawks and the Titans. So
yeah, I saw that too.
Yeah,
he wants to get paid big time. I don't know.
I just don't know if we have the money. But
I don't either. I don't know where they stand on the salary cap.
I mean, we're in pretty good standing, but we're gonna have to pay Henry eventually. I mean, obviously we franchise tagged him this year, but I mean we just paid Tannehill. So it comes to a point where you just you're not going to be able to afford all these great players, but Darrington Evans, I think that's his name. Yeah, that's his name. I think I don't know. It's something similar to that. The kid we got at Appalachian State in the third round, the running back. He looks like a better version of Dion Lewis, which obviously Dion Lewis had a problem with fumbling the football, very much so. So I'm very happy about that. I didn't really think much of it when it happened, but then I watched some of his highlights, and yeah, I mean, he looks like a better version of Dion Lewis, where if you can throw it to him in the backfield and he'll make something happen. So, yeah, I think we got a lot of good value picks. It looks like J-Rob still knows what he's doing, so I mean, not that he didn't to begin with. I mean, I think he's proving that he's starting to build something, is what I'm trying to get at, I guess.
Yeah.
So that's my thoughts on it. Do you have any, or you just want to leave it that?
No, I think the Fulton dropping or falling back was huge. You still got your tackle, and you still got Fulton, who you probably thought was going to be long gone.
Yeah.
And you still had a guy that you had targeted all along. So that's a good first 2 rounds.
What'd you think of C.D. Lamb falling to the Cowboys?
I'm never that convinced on those Big 8 players, or whatever they call it.
He called it the Big 8. I hate to say this, Dad. You just showed your age a lot.
That's what it was called forever.
Yeah. It's the Big 12. See, the Big 12 and the Big 10 have never made any sense because the Big 10 has like 14 teams and the Big 12 has 10.
And yeah.
But anyway.
They lost Colorado. Who else? Somebody else.
They lost Colorado and Nebraska.
Oh, that's right.
But they also lost Missouri and A&M.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he was supposed to be the top-rated receiver in the draft. To me, what I saw, that kid for LSU, Jefferson,
is the wide receiver of the draft.
He looked. Yeah. When I watched him play, he looked awesome. It's hard for me to believe any of those other guys are any better than him. Where'd he go?
Vikings.
Okay. I mean, he's gonna make somebody happy up there when that game play.
I agree with you. I don't remember where I had him in my list of my top 5 wide receivers, but I'm pretty sure I had him like. I think I had him third because I had Lamb first. I think I had Judy second, and then I had Jefferson third.
Where did Judy go?
Broncos.
Oh, that's right. I remember that.
I think. Yeah. He went to the Broncos, and then Ruggs went to the Raiders.
They got a bunch of Alabama people out there now.
Who, the Raiders?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all they draft is SEC players.
I'm going to tell you something. I really like Alabama and Nick Saban. That was a terrible Gruden, but it's whatever.
You need to work on your Gruden.
Yeah, all I can do is the face where he's like... That's all I can do. But I can't really do the voice. But that's why Frank Caliendo is so talented. His Mel Kiper, where he was going through his pantry, was about the funniest thing ever. Here we have Cool Ranch Doritos. You know, it's probably not a superstar pick, but a very good value pick in the Cool Ranch Doritos.
Yeah, it was funny.
Probably the biggest debate is between Goldfish and Cheez-Its. Anyway, I'm trying to think of other things that happened. I guess we covered pretty much everything that happened, right? Besides the Giants providing comedic relief again.
What did they do wrong?
They had Isaiah Simmons on the board at 4, and they just completely passed on him.
Well, okay. They've been trying to rebuild that offensive line for so long.
That's true. But, I mean, me and Zephyr were kind of talking, like, if you're going to take an O-lineman there, we both felt like there were kind of more, like, better offensive linemen available than Andrew Thomas.
But, well, we'll see. Those linemen are like quarterbacks. You just never really know.
Yeah. But, yeah, you're right. Maybe they saw something. You never know.
He might turn into a wall for 15 years.
Yeah.
That nobody can get around. I mean, those tackles are hard to come by. So.
Yeah, for sure. I guess, is that all you want to talk about for the draft?
Yeah, I guess, unless you got something else. I mean, you followed it a lot closer than I did.
Well, Goodell definitely looked like he was doing drugs of some kind during it. I mean...
He was pretty mellowed out, wasn't he?
Yeah, that second night, he was like, I just want this to be over. Why did I agree to do this? No, I mean, I was surprised he announced all the picks in the second and third rounds. Like, I figured he would just do the first round like he usually does, and then he'd have someone else do it for him in the second and third round. But, yeah, it was... what'd you think of Jerry Jones on his yacht?
$250 million yacht.
Yeah, his yacht. No, I thought it was funny. I saw some tweet that said that showed Cliff Kingsbury's house, and Bill Belichick's house together, and it said, one of these men has 6 Super Bowl rings, the other one has 5 career wins. And, of course, Kingsbury's got that huge house, and then Belichick's just in his kitchen.
That Kingsbury house looked pretty cool, didn't it?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it did. Got a nice fire going, and man, Zimmer, the Vikings coach, looked like he likes to hunt. He had a big old buck in his whatever that was. I don't know what room that was, but anyway. All right, let's move on to recruiting.
All right.
I know. Okay, so Tennessee has gotten, let's see here, 1, 2, 3, like 5 recruits this past week since Sunday. All of them either 4 or 5 stars. And that includes the number 1 JUCO running back in the nation. Who, and by the way, this JUCO running back, Tyon Evans, he's from Hutchinson Community College. That's where Alvin Kamara went. And he listen to this, he's 5'10", 225.
Man,
I didn't even know that was possible.
that sounds like Earl Campbell.
Yeah. I said that, and I was all, he sounds like a tinier version of Derrick Henry or something like that. But I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what we're doing right, but we're doing something right to be getting all these commits at once.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I don't follow recruiting like you do, but it's important. I mean, anybody that says, oh, they don't matter, they're crazy. The reason why Alabama and Clemson and Ohio State win every year is because they got the best players. It ain't because they're coaches. It's because they got the best players. You've got to get those kind of guys into your campus and into your program. It's just going to be the thing. I mean, you got to think about this. Except for that JUCO kid, there's not even one of those kids are even high school seniors yet. Okay, so
they're about to be, but yeah, I got you.
Yeah. So there's a long way to go. They could, between now and signing day, can you hold on to them? It's going to be really tough, man. Anytime Auburn's play, I always worry about it.
Yeah, I mean,
because they will flat pay out the yin yang for players. They always have. They always will.
Well, you know what? I said this on the podcast. If we're finally paying recruits, it's about dang time.
Yeah.
We should have started doing that a while ago.
That may be what is doing it. I don't know.
But, yeah, anyway. One thing that I thought has been the best from this, you kind of look at these recruits. Kamar Wilcoxon, who we got Monday, was, he's a 4-star safety. He grew up in Florida, and he grew up a Florida fan, and then he decommitted from there twice. I thought that was interesting, and, I kind of just, blew him off as kind of just a kid that was, in his feelings and didn't really know what he wanted to do. So I kind of didn't really pay attention to him for a while, and then he committed, and I was like, how did we land him all of a sudden? I was confused when he committed. So, but yeah, I mean, it seems like he's finally locked in. But like you said, this can change, especially with him since he's decommitted from Florida twice. You never know. But the thing I thought was most impressive from this is you look at Dylan Brooks. He was the number 1 player in the state of Alabama. We got Terrence Lewis, who is the number 1 outside linebacker in the country and the number 3 player in the state of Florida. And if we get Mims, that 5-star out of offensive lineman out of Georgia, you just stole 3 of the best players from the 3 states of your 3 biggest rivals.
That's right. And that's what Tennessee used to do. And that's what you're going to have to start doing. It's hard. It's hard at Tennessee. But who's the guy that you think it's Mims that's going to sign, that's going to commit tomorrow?
I don't know who's committing tomorrow. They haven't really said. They haven't said who's committing tomorrow. They just said we're probably going to get another one tomorrow. I don't know if it's going to be Mims here. I'll look at his Twitter real quick. I don't know if he's posted anything recently, but yeah, I mean, it'd be great if it was him, though. I mean, does he have any? I wonder if he has any relation to Javon Mims from Baylor that just got drafted. Who drafted him again?
I don't know.
I think it was no, it wasn't the Ravens. I don't even remember. Whatever. Let's see. Amarius Mims. does not look like, he doesn't have anything. Like, his only tweet recent that was related to Tennessee was 2 days ago. He said, "My God, Tennessee, what y'all got going on?" with a laughing emoji. So, I guess that's a good sign.
Yeah, it is.
So, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, one thing I find interesting, the 2020 basketball class and the 2021 football class, both North Carolina and Tennessee are in the top 5 in both right now.
That's pretty crazy, isn't it?
Yeah. It's crazy that North Carolina football is So the latest Rivals rankings is number 1 Ohio State, number 2 Tennessee, which just changed today. I don't know why it changed. They must have updated some players' rankings or something. Number 3 North Carolina, 4 Florida, and 5 Clemson. So, like you said, that's the big thing I keep trying to tell myself. It's early, it's early, it's early. Don't get too excited. It is early. So, yeah, I mean, I guess you good with recruiting now? You want to move on?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it's a good thing. It's fine to be happy. It's just you got to understand it's a long process of recruiting, and you're probably gonna lose a kid or two out of this. It's just how things work. Sometimes you'll lose a kid that you don't really mind if you lose. They don't turn out to be as good a players as you thought they were.
Yep.
So, but right now they got some good momentum going, and that's a good thing. We need it. We need any good news in that football program.
Yeah, I mean, I think what a lot of kids are seeing is 2 things. One, besides LSU, believe it or not, we have the longest winning streak in the country right now, besides LSU. And second, a lot of these kids are probably like, you know what, I want to do something different. Like, a lot of these kids probably just want to branch out, like, oh, everyone's going to Georgia, Ohio State, Bama, Clemson. I'm going to go to Tennessee, because why not? Do something different. But, that's what it's going to take. I mean, I'm hoping, if things are going the way it is right now, I'm hoping this is the class that turns it around. But
it could be. It's going to happen sometime. This might be the group. It does.
Yeah. Oh, see, okay. They're showing the 2015 Kentucky Derby right now on NBC. I just saw Randy Moss. I forgot. Did you? I didn't tell you this. Did you know he works for NFL Network too? I saw him on NFL Network the other day. I was like, he does something besides horse racing? I was so confused. You know who I'm talking about?
No. Who is this now?
Randy Moss, that bald guy who does the horse racing for NBC.
What else does he do?
Yeah, he was on NFL Network the other day.
What for?
I don't know. I thought he only did horse racing. He was like talking about the draft. He was doing a report about the draft. I was like, he does something besides horse racing?
I'm surprised. I thought sometimes it's horse racing guys are just, it's about betting and gambling.
Yeah, that's like how, why can I not think of this man's name? This is going to drive me crazy. I can't think of his name. Eddie Olczyk, that's what he does for, like, you know how he's like the hockey guy with Doc Emmerich? Like in the booth. He's like on the main commentary team. Yeah, that's what he does.
Yeah.
So, they just showed American Pharaoh. They have a TV in his stable, and he's watching himself race. That's funny. You want to see this? He's just looking at the TV. Anyway, well, what are your thoughts on Steve Forbes leaving ETSU and being hired by Wake Forest?
Well, he's got a tough job. I mean, the last time ETSU had a great program going, they made 4 straight NCAA tournaments in the late 80s and 90s. And the coach at that time named was Les Robinson. And after the 3rd straight bid to the NCAA tournament, he got hired by NC State. And he fell right on his face. He didn't do very well at all. So it's a big leap, but Steve Forbes is a good coach.
Yeah.
I mean, in fact, if you ask me, he was half the reason that Pearl did so well in Tennessee.
Is he on that staff?
Yeah.
I didn't even know that. Wow.
Yeah, he sure was. So he knows what he's doing. It's just Wake is a tough place to win in that ACC.
Yeah.
He's going to have to do more with less. I mean, he's not going to be signing 4 and 5 stars. He's just not. They're going to go to Duke in North Carolina and Louisville. He's got to find a way to beat you with his 3-star guys. And, can he do that? I don't know. We're going to find out. But I'm happy for him. He's getting life-changing money to go. So what is he going to do at ETSU? It's hard to say. Depends on who they hire. They're probably going to hire his assistant. His name is Jason something. I can't think of his same first name as mine, but I can't think of his last name. It's
probably you. You should be hired as ETSU's next coach. I could go to college at ETSU and I could be on your staff. I could be a manager while I'm going to college at ETSU.
That'd be great. I wish we could do that. That'd be like a dream.
Yeah, you just get hired by ETSU and I go to college there and I'm a manager. I'm like, yeah. Anyway.
I'd keep getting thrown out of the game so you had to coach.
Yeah, kick me out of the game like in Hoosiers.
Like in Hoosiers, yeah.
Kick me out of the game. What? I want you to kick me out of the game. All right. And he just does it. Yeah. No, I wouldn't have to coach. The other assistant coach would have to coach.
Yeah, probably so.
But anyway. But no, you would probably just get kicked out of the game because you would think it was fun.
No, I would. I would get kicked out of the game because I'm just kind of that way, like I get kicked off of Twitter all the time.
Yeah, because you're not. How could you be so fiscally irresponsible? Anyway. Have you watched any of The Last Dance?
No, I haven't seen any of it.
Well, I've thought it was very informative. So, I've said this a couple times. For you that lived through it, you probably wouldn't learn anything that new. But for me that I didn't get to live through this, I'm learning so much I had no idea about. I didn't know about the Bad Boy Pistons. I didn't know about Jerry Krause. I didn't know about all of that stuff. So, do you just want to take us through some of your memories of that stuff?
Well, they just early on, Jordan, they just couldn't get over. They couldn't get past Detroit, and it was just one of those deals where one team got older, and the other team was younger. And then once Jordan, once they got past him and swept him in that last series, it was over. And they won 6 titles. If he hadn't went away to try to play baseball, they'd have won 9 titles. Nobody was going to beat him as long as he was there.
Yeah, I mean, what was I about to say? Oh yeah, I mean, one thing I thought was amazing. Jordan drops 59 in Game 1 against the Celtics in whatever year that was. It was 88 or 89.
I don't know the year.
But you know what I'm talking about. Yeah. And then the next day he goes to play golf with Danny Ainge. And then in the next game, in Game 2, he drops like 60 again.
63.
Yeah. It's crazy that he played golf with an opposing player in the middle of a series. Like, you would never see that today.
No, you wouldn't. That gives you an idea of, he didn't have any help at that time. It was just him against all others. So that Celtics team was all-time great, too. That's one of the best teams of all time. Yeah,
what Larry Bird said really puts it in perspective for you. He said that was God disguised as Michael Jordan.
Yeah. I'm sure that's how they felt.
Yeah. I didn't... I'm sure you remember that there's that book, The Jordan Rules, you have in there in the guest bedroom. I kind of forgot about that. And I didn't forget about it. I just never knew what it was about. I guess now I know what it's about.
You ought to read that while you're not in school. That's the perfect time. There's all kinds of books back here.
Yeah, and especially with what's since it's on TV right now. Yeah, I'd probably like that a lot. Yeah, I think I'll check it out. It is about that, right?
Yeah. A lot of what you've seen on TV will be in that book. A lot of it will be.
Oh, they're having the virtual race. Secretariat's doing classic Secretariat, starting at the back and coming back. Anyway, but yeah, some of that stuff is just crazy. I can't believe Dennis Rodman took a vacation in the middle of the season. That man is nuts.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, that last season, Dennis Rodman took a vacation for like a whole week in the middle of the year.
Where'd he go?
Vegas.
He left the team for a week.
Yeah, he went to Vegas and just like partied and stuff.
I don't remember that happening at all.
Yeah, it was that last year in 97, 98. Yeah, it was.
Wow.
I was like, okay.
I would like to watch that. Do they replay it anywhere?
I think they ought to be in the ESPN app, but if they're not, I think they're on Netflix. I'm not 100% sure, but they might be. So you can find it. I mean, just try some of the streaming platforms. You'll probably find it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, I don't know. Anything else you want to talk about? Oh, Secretariat won. Big surprise.
He came in second.
I don't know. I gotta see. Hurry up. This is great. This is great. This is dead air. And they didn't show it. They just said Secretariat won. They didn't even show it. If I had the sound on, I probably would have known, but obviously I didn't. Anyway, anything?
How much did he win by?
Not much. I mean, coming down the last turn, he was like in fourth.
Right.
Yeah, of course he did what he always does, just speeding up at the last second.
Yeah.
That was one thing I found amazing about. I watched Secretariat last night. Is like those first two races, he started in the very back, and then about halfway through, he would just freaking hit the breakers and just be gone.
And roaring down the center of the
Animal
track.
Kingdom! Yeah. That was like the greatest call ever.
Yeah, it was. It was fun.
All his calls are good, though.
Yeah, I agree. All right, honey. Hopefully we'll have some real sports to talk about soon.
Yeah, I mean, well, we're not going to do this every week, obviously, because then we would just be bored, because there's nothing to talk about, obviously. But yeah, I mean, hopefully you guys enjoyed this episode despite the circumstances. But yeah, I don't know when we'll come at you again. Probably like 2 or 3 weeks. We'll just kind of play it by ear. But yeah, hopefully everything returns soon. So hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and we'll talk to you again later. Anything else you want to say?
No, thanks for having me, son. I appreciate it.
Thanks for listening.